I love this game. I live this game. And there's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Adam Sandler, one of Hollywood's most beloved comedic stars, wasn't there to make anyone laugh on day 14 of the Diddy trial. The courtroom was packed, reporters everywhere, cameras flashing. But when Adam took the stand, the entire room shifted. The atmosphere turned heavy. What he revealed wasn't comedy. It was unsettling, dark, and centered around one figure, Sean Diddy Combs. According to Sandler, Diddy wasn't just a music legend, he was a master of psychological manipulation.
After lunch, Mia was back on the stand, and remember, prosecutors wanted her to be done today, but unfortunately, she will be back on the stand Monday. Once the jury was back in the courtroom, Brian Steele had them pass around a scrapbook Mia made for Diddy in 2014. He made that scrapbook after having a conversation with Diddy where he told her, "I used to look at the world the way you did," implying that he had done it all and had everything. She said it was hard to get a birthday gift for someone who had a lot of money and thought he would really enjoy it. At the top of the scrapbook, she wrote, "Puff, sometimes life goes by at a catastrophic speed. I hope on this day, I hope you can sit back and consider I made this book of articles from 1991 to now." Brian Steele asked her, "How could you make something so kind for a man that ruined your life?" And she said, "It's called psychological." There was no one around who flinched at his behavior.
Sandler described how Diddy initially appeared to be a friend, a mentor who recognized Adam's potential beyond comedy as a true creative, but that was just the entry point. Things slowly turned darker. What followed, Adam claimed, was a calculated descent into emotional manipulation. One of the most disturbing incidents occurred during what Diddy called a brotherhood weekend. He had flown Adam to his luxury estate in Miami, supposedly for bonding, but one night Diddy asked him to join him in the steam room. The way he said it felt off, almost like it was part of some ritual. "Let's wash off the day," Diddy told him.
She also said that this wasn't a relationship, and Brian Steele said, "But you were not in a relationship," and she reminded him that you don't have to be in a relationship for it to be a I was young and manipulated and eager to survive. I'm unraveling a lot of this now in therapy. Nobody was there to say these things that were happening were wrong. There was nobody around us that ever even flinched at his behavior. I was always in trouble, and I was always just trying to find a way not to be in trouble. And asked why she needed someone else to tell her it was wrong for Diddy to make her feel like he would unalive her, she said, "There's a difference between my logic brain and trauma brain. The trauma brain wins. Eventually, it becomes normalized, and you're just trying to get back to the good. You make excuses for people. I'm a people pleaser. I'm an empath. I'm a rule follower. Just wanted to do my best and make everybody happy all the time, so I tend to take a lot more than normal people. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if I should apologize for that. I forgive people all the time for things."
At first, Adam hesitated. He didn't feel comfortable, but he also didn't want to upset Diddy, so he went. He kept his boxers on, trying to keep things casual, but Diddy laughed and reached for them. "Don't be shy," Diddy said. "This isn't Hollywood. This is real life." In court, Adam recalled how small and powerless he felt, like saying no would ruin everything. And that, he believed, was Diddy's tactic, using influence to make people feel like they had no way out. And it didn't stop there. Diddy kept inviting him over, always alone, always with that same strange tension. Once in Los Angeles, Diddy asked him to come by just to watch some movies like the old days. But when Adam arrived, there was no staff, no team, just Diddy lounging in silk pajamas. Eventually, Diddy paused the film and said, "You look tired. Come nap with me." Adam said it felt like a trap, but he still followed. "I didn't want to make it weird," he told the court. Then Diddy patted the bed and said calmly and firmly, "You're mine now, Sandy." That line, Adam testified, sent chills down his spine. Diddy's control wasn't physical, it was psychological. He would give gifts, show up unannounced, and act like everything was normal. It was emotional warfare, Sandler said. He didn't need threats. His power was enough. Adam felt silenced. He couldn't tell the press, couldn't confide in friends. "He made you feel like your whole career belonged to him," Adam told the jury. "And maybe It did.
And she said after St. Bart's, she confronted him about his behavior, but not about the SA. Diddy's response to his behavior was that he needed help. She was then asked about the birthday video, to which she had said she asked people to be in that video, including celebs, who agreed to do it. She said, I probably told him I loved him in the video, but I don't remember. When asked if she had lied on the stand about Diddy's behavior, she said, I have not lied at all. Brian Steele then says, isn't it true it did not happen as many times as you said? And she replied, everything I said in this courtroom is true. When asked why she made the scrapbook, she said, you can talk to an expert about SA. Mia then testified to text messages between her and KK from December 6, 2016, where she said she was devastated finding out she was being let go. She had text KK saying, my life is over, I might as well unalive myself. KK responded saying, call me back or I'm calling your parents. And she said, F, I'm so sorry. I'm with Laura Gomez. Brian asked her who that was and she said someone from HR. When KK texted her back saying, I'm not going to, she said, the pain hurts so effing bad. Brian Steele said to her, you could have quit. And she said, I didn't see it that way. He said, why? And she said, there's a pretty long psychological explanation. I was around them 24 hours a day. This is all I knew.
Things took a darker turn in Aspen. What was supposed to be a fun and creative retreat with various industry people attending quickly became something else. At first, Adam felt secure, surrounded by familiar faces. But then Diddy suggested a private snowmobile trip to a remote lodge. Just the two of us, he said. Adam was hesitant but didn't want to cause a scene, so he went. That quiet lodge, Adam said, felt like something out of a horror film. There was a fireplace burning, a robe laid out, and a camera already, positioned on a tripod. Diddy handed him the robe and said, you're in my world now. This is how it's done. He wanted Adam to undress. When Adam refused, Diddy tried to untie the robe himself. Adam ran, but the most chilling part came years later. A USB drive arrived at Adam's door. On it, a brief video, one of those private moments secretly recorded. No violence, but clearly filmed without permission. Alongside it, a message. Watch what you say. We all have ghosts. That's when Adam realized he hadn't just been a friend to Diddy. He had been a pawn, a piece of leverage. In court, Adam stated he wasn't alone. Other celebrities had received messages, clips, threats. Diddy kept insurance, he said. Files, evidence, secrets. Not for protection, but for control. To keep everyone in line.
Just after 11 o'clock this morning, the defense said we are moving for a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct. The motion was denied. But here's the backstory. Lance Jimenez, an arson investigator, was asked about that Molotov cocktail that was found inside Kid Cudi's car back in 2012. He said that in August of 2012, print cards were destroyed. Here's where the defense took the issue. There were two additional questions asked that said, did you authorize prints to be destroyed? This is what the prosecution asked the arson investigator. Then they said, was this unusual? So the defense said in their argument as to why they want a mistrial that they felt this was prejudicial. They felt like this was the prosecution trying to put in the jurors' heads that Combs somehow was involved with the destruction of evidence. But again, the judge denied the motion for a mistrial, and instead, when the jurors came back, he said to them, quote, questions regarding destruction of fingerprint cards are irrelevant and not to be considered in this case.
Adam told the court he had lived in fear for years. He passed on roles. He avoided interviews. People thought he was being selective, but the truth was he was terrified. Behind the scenes, he suffered from PTSD, nightmares, panic attacks, all stemming from the shadow Diddy had cast over him. The defense team tried to argue that Adam's career hadn't really been affected, but Adam shut that down quickly. Fame isn't a shield, he said. It's a mask, and I wore that mask every single day. He even brought a handwritten note from 2004. It simply said, I wish I could disappear. He wrote that right after Diddy threatened to destroy his career if he ever spoke about what happened in Aspen. Adam clarified, this trial wasn't about payback. It wasn't about celebrity or headlines. It was about the truth. For the first time, he felt he could finally speak it. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last, he told the courtroom. But maybe I'll be the loudest. As Adam stepped down from the stand, the courtroom was silent. Not out of doubt, but out of belief. For the first time, the world wasn't looking at Diddy as a party icon or music mogul. They were seeing him through the eyes of someone who had lived in fear of him for years. Adam walked out of court not as a comedian or a movie star, but as someone who had survived Diddy's emotional manipulation, someone who had finally reclaimed his voice.
Right now, Sean Diddy Combs isn't only fighting for his freedom, but also his money. Even with all his legal troubles, Forbes estimates his net worth is still around $400 million. But if he were to be convicted, all that could be in jeopardy. Why? Because the government could actually seize his assets. People might hear that and think, wait, does that really mean that all of his businesses, all the money he has, could conceivably have been used to finance this? Therefore, it's all fair game?
Yeah, it pretty much is. I mean, this is a very, very broadly phrased forfeiture allegation. It doesn't look like there was any sort of pre-indictment seizures that they're counting towards it. Normally you see things they've already gotten their hooks into. So it's basically just saying if it is an instrumentality or a proceed, we're going to go after it. And they've named the enterprise in a very broad way, the RICO. The RICO is essentially anything he touched in his business world, whether it's record labels, liquor labels, planes, trains, and automobiles. Basically mean everything is in play. And the other thing is there's a concept called substitute assets. Just when you think you're crawling out of the wreckage and you're down to your last 400 million, you're told, oh, we're also going for substitute assets, which means even if we can't prove that this particular car, this diamond watch, this piece of art is not connected to criminality, it still relates to our overall reward, and we're going to use it as a substitute.
This trial, Adam said, isn't just about one person's pain. It's about what happens when someone finally finds the courage to speak out. Adam Sandler may have brought laughter to millions for decades, but now he was showing the world what real strength looks like. What comes next in this trial? Will more names come forward? Will others break their silence? We may not have all the answers yet, but one thing's clear. This case has become bigger than just a courtroom story. It's become a reckoning, a spotlight on how power can be used not just to build empires, but to keep people silent. For years,